So we're returning to our anatomy quiz example, and I'm going to go over the question section. You'll have the ability to pull from question banks or even add groups, which randomizes the questions based on the number of questions you choose to pull from the group and display in the quiz. These settings will also be discussed in a future video, so for now I'll detail just the options for your different quiz questions. So when you create a new question, you do not need to type anything into the box in this section here. Students will not be able to see this text, and it simply exists as an internal note for the quiz creator. Next to this box, you'll see a drop-down listing the various quiz question types. So you'll see them all listed here. So for all the questions, you can specify the point value here and type in the question using the rich content editor down here. The rich content editor has the same functionalities across the board. Just as you would when creating an assignment, you can embed an image, generate a link, insert a table, and more. So once you pose the question, and for this example, the question will be, which of the following is the most superficial? You can scroll down, it's a multiple choice question, and you can select the correct answer, and the correct answer is indicated by this green arrow. So say like skin was not the correct answer and it was actually bones, you could always change it this way. For multiple choice, there will only be one correct answer and as many possible answers as you want. So this is another functionality of the Canvas quizzes. You can actually provide feedback to students for each question as well. So you can type this in the boxes down here. So the green is for correct answer comments. So say you wanted to tell them why this answer was correct. The red is for incorrect answer comments, tell them why the answer is wrong. And the gray is just for general comments that will appear regardless of the answer that they choose. For true and false, the same rules apply. Pose the question, you type whether it's true or false by selecting the green arrow and saving. For fill in the blank, since students can type in any response, the instructor can only provide possible answers here. So there's no green arrow that comes up. If you'd like students to fill in multiple blanks, you will need to follow a formula. So let's take a look at the example. As you can see, I've placed phrases in brackets to show where the fill-ins will go. You can type anything in the brackets as long as it's all one word, or you can include a number as well. Then down here, you'll be able to specify possible answers for each fill-in or each bracket box. So for color 1, you must type in at least one possible answer for each fill-in, or else you won't be able to finish editing the question. So you'd say red, and that's the only answer that can be provided, so we can delete this one. And then for color 2, this will also only be one answer. So if you'd like to see how that is viewed to students, we can save the quiz. Make sure to click the blue save button. And then we can actually preview the quiz. So here you can see that the brackets that I created are now fill-in boxes. So let's return to editing the quiz. We can go back to questions and add a new question. Most of you are probably familiar with the phrase, select all that apply. That's basically what multiple answers is. The question will show a checkbox next to each answer, and the student will need to choose the correct answer or answers. You can also indicate more than one, as you see here. Then for multiple drop-downs, you'll complete the same process previously described for multiple blanks with the brackets. So instead of a fill-in box, the brackets you type indicate where the drop-downs will go. And then you can list all the possible and correct answers here for each drop-down box. And only one can be correct per drop-down. For matching, students will see values on the left and have to select the matching value on the right from a drop-down. So multiple rows can have the same answer, and you can also add additional distractors to the right side by typing each one on its own line down here. For a numerical answer, you can define the correct answer as any number within a range, or a number plus or minus some error margin. The student will be given an empty text box to type their numerical answer. For a formula question, you can enter your question, build a formula, and generate a set of possible answer combinations. So let's do an example. What is 5 plus, and put x in brackets, that's the variable. So students will see the questions with a randomly selected set of variables filled in, and they'll have to type the correct numerical answer. So you can define variables by typing variable names surrounded by brackets, as I just showed you, and once you've entered your variables, you can see them listed here. You can specify the range of possible values for each variable. So the range can be listed here, and then you'll have to write the formula to compute the correct answer. For the essay question, students will have a text box to type in their response, which will be sent to the instructor for grading. For a file upload, you can pose the question, and the student will have the ability to browse their files for a document as a response, and a text box will not be provided otherwise. The text question will not be scored, but it can be useful as an introduction to new content or a group of questions. So say you want to introduce the next group, like part 2, then the students will only see that text. It will not appear as a question. So once you're finished adding all of your questions, again, later on we'll get into the question groups and the banks. You can save. You know, it's not published yet, but this is how it will appear. And once you do publish, you'll see that you have the option to moderate the quiz and utilize SpeedGrader.